Hello there, this is Shane from Shane's Books and Review, and I hope you are having a great day today. It is Friday, and we are going to be talking about the games of Supervillainy, the Supervillainy Saga Book 2, wrote by C.T. Phipps, narrated by Jeffrey Keffer. When it comes to this sort of a thing where it's serialized, it's pulp, the main person really never has anything bad happen, main characters really don't usually die, it's important to go into it with the understanding of what it is. It's meant for high entertainment value and not really to be took so serious, although there is kind of some serious subject matter in it, in a way. So is this book worth your time, efforts, and energy? Will it hold up compared to the original? Let's find out. And in this one, it picks up where the first one left off. After the first one, there was a demigod that was killed on the moon as Merciless was trying to escape, and he had to strike a deal with death to be able to do that. And in this one, he ends up getting teamed up with Greek semi-demigod type of a person, and essentially in the openings he comes back to his city and everything is in ruins. It's almost like Night of the Living Dead, but not the funny slow zombies, very fast running zombies. Somewhere the rules are kind of thought about on what a zombie, why it would be fast or why it would be slow, etc. And that in itself was kind of entertaining. And of course this opens up the possibility of all the villains he's already killed can come back, of course. So there's that too. But there's a main problem pretty much in the opening of the book, and that is that his wife is gone. And he thinks that she's left him because he was gone for a month. In his mind it happened in the matter of seconds. In reality, it took a month before he got to get back to where he should have been. But of course all that wasn't gotten into. It was just said, whoops, there was an error. Took me a month to get back. So there's that. But he has to team up with some people that he normally probably wouldn't team up with, one being Angel Eyes, which his super villainy superpower is just being so attractive that nobody can resist them. And he was the chosen of Greek goddesses, and he's got one little blemish, a little scar right here, and he thinks that it makes him a horrible looking thing. The book is filled with all kinds of just these little details that will, if it catches you on the right day, it'll be some of the funniest things ever. Simply because in superhero books and all that kind of thing, I've never been a big fan of those sorts of things, but they typically take themselves so very serious. And this isn't a dig or a jab on people that enjoy those at all. It's not. In fact, I respect it because the dedication that you guys have and that you gals have to that kind of material is phenomenal. It's incredible. So kudos to the fans of that kind of a thing. I'm just saying it's not usually the thing for me, but I respect it and I respect you. Now, this book is silly. That's the best way to put it. It's on par with the first one. Pitfalls and character defects that is given to the characters and the rules that they are expected to follow because of that is what made this book so entertaining. Like Angel Eyes, he's a villain, he's a wizard, he controls magic, and he can do all this kind of a thing. But two of the tropes is you can make him pretty much do whatever you want as long as you play up to his vanity, because after all, he came from a culture that put that above everything else. And so that can be manipulated. But on the same token, he doesn't have a problem with killing anybody at all unless it's something that he deems pretty or gorgeous or handsome. In which case, then he will fight to the end for whatever that is, good or bad. You can see where that's headed. In this one, there's, of course, more end of the world type stuff is going to happen if this doesn't happen. Okay, I mean, that might not be the way that every one of these books goes. He ends up having to strike a deal with another god. Things really don't work out well on that. But one of the funnier things was the whole book was culminating to the people that had created the city that he was in and lived in and resided in, that they did absolutely ruined it, were trying to summon forth this demon. Think of it like H.P. Lovecraft, Kraken. And in fact, there was a nod to H.P. Lovecraft in that a couple times it said stuff to the effect of, I couldn't tell you how horrible this is. If I did, you would go crazy. I cannot describe that kind of a thing, just being overly dramatic, but quite seriously, it was done in tongue-in-cheek style, and then some descriptions were given. So it's forgivable, and it was funny the way it was done. But whenever they actually do succeed in summoning it, it's this big. It was something else. We get to see more with death towards the end, and there's scenes just all the way throughout it that were funny and comical, but also the book is true to itself. As I was saying, there's all these silly little rules and regulations that they're expected to stick to, and they actually do, and they don't really break them so much as try to find ways around them, and they are so overly meta about it as well. It's comedy. That's the best way to say it. What's some of the things that this book made me feel? It made me feel happy. It made me feel joy. Even though the subject matter was wanting to be serious on, if we don't achieve this, then everything's going to fall apart. The souls of the world is going to be swallowed up and the world's going to be reborn. That kind of a thing. With all of that, still just the journey of point A to point B is what made it worthwhile for me. Is the book worth your time, efforts, and energies? If you need a comedy in your life, I don't think that you could do much worse. I mean, it does have a little bit of interdimensional type traveling. It does have a scene that was actually kind of heart-touching. Came to one of the deals that was made. On all, I can say it's a pretty solid sequel to the first one. It stayed true to itself. The narrations by Jeffrey was really, really good. In fact, it never really detracted. I mean, there were some scenes where things were over the top excited and wasn't necessarily yelling, but there was more volume or less volume. He does a good job with this. So, good job. Question of the week. What should the question of the week be? A lot of the time in life, we find that life will imitate art, art will imitate life. There are some exceptions to every rule and rules to every exception. And in this book, that seems to be kind of a thing that goes back and forth. It's not something that doubles down or redoubles on itself or does bad things to the literature that is here. So I'm curious, if you had a series like this that you would enjoy being in for just a few hours, just to see what it would actually be like, what would it be? Yes, it's an outlandish, fanciful question, but I'm actually curious. I'd love to know. Tell me down there in those comment sections and we'll get back to it. And now for the user call out. I don't know who it's going to be, but this was the most interesting thing that I found this week, so thank you for that. And in a couple weeks time, we are going to be going over the Change the Command, which is part of the Frontline series, wrote by Marco Close. Like, share, subscribe. This is Shane with Shane's Books and Review. I hope that you had a great day today and that you found this interesting. By the way, YouTube wants you to check out one of these two videos over here, so give it a go. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.